Hello there, and welcome to the show. No, I'm not doing that.
Little music. Don't you want to do the?
And welcome to the show. No, what is it? YouMeUs.tv is great. Thank you. My name is Aran. This is Charles. This is the podcast. Welcome to the show. Yes. What can we speak about that's of value? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this podcast has no real plan. I think the only purpose of it, or the main purpose of it so far, is to it's a little bit of a funny position, this one.
We can look at the camera or we can look at each other.
Yeah, so this is going to be more of a looking at that one and then looking at yourself there.
Yeah.
I've seen some people do it like this, but I was always wondering how they managed to do it when the camera's there and like this at the same time. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, like I said, this podcast is about just getting into production. It's unedited, it's uncut. I don't want to spend much time editing it because editing takes time and there's other projects to be getting on with, but I want to use this as a space to get our own thoughts down, get some content out there. And very often and always in the 2 previous times I've done it in this setup, something valuable always comes out of it. So let's just get the ball rolling. I want to hear you, Charles. Like you've been in YouMeUs.tv, you've been in the crew 2-3 years now. When was summer school? 2 years ago? Yeah, 2.5 years ago. So let's just round that up to 3 years. You've been here for 3 years now. What's been the 3 biggest learnings that you've picked up in your time here?
I think the first one would be it's all about dedication to the team, to community, to family, to yourself. That's true when we do coaching, but also when we're doing our media production. You know, you've got to be focused, 100% focused into what you're trying to do and achieve. And I think the last one is being able to like process all your energy into one project that you're proud of. Because if you're proud of it, then the team is proud of it, and then eventually your client is proud of it. So it's about those 3 things working together. I mean, lots of other things, but mainly it's those 3 things, like in conjunction to be able to provide value for yourself, but also for a client.
What is the benefit for you of producing media content now? Like, what is the benefit for you? Yeah,
I think really it's the freedom and excitement. Like, you know, it's something that I can add to my statement for university or for jobs. But I think also at the moment I'm just having fun. Like, I'm trying out this thing where I can schedule when the podcast drops. So yeah, I'm already doing that. I'm dropping one on Friday, 9 p.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. not p.m. Yeah. So I'm trying to make some like regular schedule rather than just uploading it. Working hard to do that on 2 platforms. So I work on Anchor and on YouTube, and so yeah, it's fun. It's fun doing that. Yeah. It's fun being able to, like, even today I just got something on. I got another podcast from Aran, and just watching it going to I've got all these different files on my computer that say Media to the Stars. I've got Media to the Stars just in general on my iCloud drive. Yeah. And then I've got Media to the Stars visual, Media to the Stars audio. So yeah, it's quite fun watching it, and you can just look at the list and you can just see how it like progresses, and yeah, it's just very exciting. I think it's an exciting time to be able to do your own podcast, not have to do much editing. Like, you know, it's when I have free time or like something like today happens where, you know, people are sick or they're not coming or whatever it is. But yeah, I think it's really good to have, you know, the ability to just start recording and see what happens.
I know what I want to speak about. I want to speak about your podcast, and I want to turn this conversation, this episode, into a discussion about your podcast. I want to get your insights on it, your feedback so far, and then I want to offer my feedback and advice on how to make it even more how you want it to be, or how to improve it according to your criteria. And then the advice and the conversation from that will be of value to the viewer watching, who also is in the content game and wants to upgrade their content as well. and I'll learn it myself. So whilst I'm speaking to you about it, I'll remember and I'll hear myself saying those things, and that will be of value to me as well. So we'll do a kind of like a live workshop on Media to the Stars so far.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
That's fine. No, I'm happy to discuss that.
Yeah,
I know all the knowledge there is to know about my own podcast. So yeah,
there we go.
good.
And how does that sound to you guys? The people have spoken. The people that they want it. They want it. They need it. Okay, so Media to the Stars. How's it going so far?
It's been phenomenal, really. I mean, even though I've got no followers, I can still say that because all the skills that I've learned, like the first day, I was just creating all the accounts that say Media to the Stars. I mean, I actually found that name on TikTok like quite a long time ago. Still haven't posted like any videos. I think I posted like a story. But yeah, it's the fact that that one was free on that platform, and for some reason it's free on other platforms, which is great because that's what you want when you actually find like a name that sticks. Originally, I was trying to think, do I say the Media to the Stars podcast, or do I just say Media to the Stars podcast? So I got rid of the because it's too much words. But yeah, it was really interesting because I had been looking at doing podcasts, like a different one I was going to do with a friend, but actually they were going to be the host, and they were going to come into the studio and they were going to do like a football thing, and I was going to use football contacts that I have through the agency. But yeah, it's been fun doing my own podcast because it's like I guess it's a solo project on the side.
Yeah.
That, really, really intrigues me because, I've done amazing things with it so far. I mean, I think I could do more, but I mean, to be able to like be where I was, like people are sending me emails. Like there was this one guy that I sent to Aran, who's legit. I mean, we first thought that he wasn't legit, but we went onto his website and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm getting emails about my podcast being 57 in the visual arts category. I mean, like even with no one listening, it's like, okay, so if you regularly upload, you can still be like in the charts. So that was fun. I mean, another thing talking about the podcast is it was difficult at first to decide what category does my podcast go in, because I could say visual arts because that's sort of media, but media is just so wide that it's like I could press multiple, but when you have to stick to one, it's very difficult when deciding. And all these different platforms, like some do have media, some don't. So I've gone to visual arts because I mean we're doing this podcast visually, but also what I want to talk. I'm talking with filmmakers and people. Yeah, I mean I think film is a very good medium and TV and everything that's digital. So yeah,
I think categories. From my perspective, like categories don't matter as much. What's always going to matter is what you're posting. And so if you had to describe what Media to the Stars actually, what Media to the Stars posts, what its type of content is, how would you describe that?
Okay, so I would describe it as two things at the moment, but it's, like I say, it's very wide. There's lots of things coming up in the future that I want to like spread out into, but number one, the main purpose is to like serve as sort of like maybe a documentary or just talking with the team at YouMeUs, because it's just fun to do these sort of podcasts with a team member. Like we were told, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks ago now that everyone should get a podcast, and I think I was the first one to just take it up. I did it within like a week or two. I think it was the next week that we recorded the podcast. I just thought, you know what, just do it now because why am I not doing it? And I think Bob was right in giving me that incentive and that message. Like it really like resonated with me, I think.
What's your outcomes for the podcast? Like what do you hope to achieve through this podcast?
I think it's having the best media podcast. I mean that would be amazing. Having lots of followers, people know who I am, know what I do. But I think, it's just about growing it and talking to people, and actually it's more about providing, like, also definitely value for me, but like I say, value for the person listening. Like if I can get up in the ranks, start talking to executive producers, directors, very important people in any industry that's, related to media, which seems to be increasing. I think that's really important. Like other podcasts that I listen to, like Stephen Bartlett's Diary of the CEO, he talks to famous people, so it's just I think it could go there, but I don't know.
So if you're doing this, and as a way to kind of promote yourself as well, to get your personality out there, I think that makes an even bigger case for you to start posting yourself more. Because I think when I see Media to the Stars, I still don't see Charles. Robin actually said there's this new account called Media to the Stars, and he wasn't sure who was behind it. I think he thought it was Aladdin at first. And there is that thing of, it's called Media to the Stars, the profile picture is something else, and the posts are predominantly shared posts from other accounts. And so I think now you've said that, it would be valuable for you to move to a space where you start posting yourself. Because I think your personality is magnetic, impactful, effective, engaging. People would watch that. And so you've got an asset there that if you capture and record in a short, tight, simple way, that's something that you can package, distribute, and share with the world on social media. Make it really easy. Like I would suggest, like we spoke about last week, doing very short takes to camera, short takes to your phone, talking about something you're passionate about, and then your passion will be captured and shared through the phone. It will just come through the recording and through the Instagram, through TikTok, or wherever it's being posted. What do you think about that? What do you think about moving to a space where you start recording yourself and start posting videos of yourself?
I mean, certainly I could do that. I mean, I think, like when we go to the London Stadium to film our grassroots football for the Legacy Football League, I think it, when you take those professional photos of me, like that could straight away go up there. I think at the moment it's just been that, I mean, like, of course I've got some followers and they're from YouMeUs predominantly and some of the other projects that we've done. But yeah, I think at the moment, what my thing is I'm just like separating, like obviously I'm in the podcast, but I think I'm just like separating like different aspects of my life. But I could start posting stuff of myself, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just trying to know like what my brain does, like on Instagram, for example, when you have two accounts, you can just switch between them very easily. It's like trying to understand who am I following on which one and what am I doing on which one. Like you could argue that when I do the repost of Legacy Football League or anyone that I know, I should actually be doing that on my main account as well. But I mean, I think there's been something about that with my personal account that I've not really posted any images, stories, anything for like quite a long time. But I don't know. I could start again, but I think yeah, I'm happy with both of the accounts at the moment. But yeah, there's definitely room for change.
Change if it's for the better, and change if it's moving towards what you want to move into. I think the classic sort of content advice that I'd always drop is always go to the end in mind and know what the purpose and outcome of your content is. Once you know what the purpose is, then you design content that will enable that purpose to manifest. So if it's to monetize, then you got to go, all right, who do I want to get paid by, and what content what do they want? It's my mother. I can wait. Unedited. I'm not going to edit it out. I'm just going to put it straight up. So, yeah, what is the purpose of the content? Is it to monetize? Because if it's to monetize, then you got to know who's going to get paid and what they want. If it's eyeballs, then you got to then know which eyeballs do you have to go and get. You know, the classic thing is like someone says they want sponsorship from JD Sports, and then they want advertising on their content from JD Sports. JD Sports is going to go, whose eyeballs have you got? What audience have you got? Because JD Sports want to advertise to a very specific audience. And so then I need to go and create content that is going to get the eyeballs of the audience JD Sports wants to advertise to. And then so that gives you a direction in terms of the content that you then want to produce. So then that gives a frame to it. So if it is JD Sports, I would have to go, who does JD Sports want to advertise to? Let's say it's young men. Then I go, be as specific as possible. Young men from East London, aged 14 to 18. Then I go, all right, what are they interested in? What do they want to see? What do they value? Then I go, they're interested in like some London-based comedy that's about, let's say, music and football, with a strong sort of like London, urban kind of personality or whatever, some kind of Chunks vibe, because Chunks is now part of their team. So then it's about constructing content with that energy that then that audience is then going to watch, and then consistently producing it, and then taking that analytics to JD to say, look, we have these eyeballs. Now, do you want to pay to promote to advertise your products on our content so these guys see your products? That's pretty much the deal. So then you as a content producer, if it's about advertising, become the sort of the conduit between the target audience of the sponsor and the sponsor. So you're like the meeting point so that they can send their adverts through your content to the audience. Does that make sense? Mm. Is sponsorship something that you want to do with your Media to the Stars?
At the moment, I mean, I haven't really thought about that. To be honest, I think the podcast at the moment is, I guess for me, like when Bob said it, I don't know if he specifically meant to go for sponsorship, but at the moment it's just about growing it slowly. Or I mean, honestly, I'm content either way. But yes, I could go in that goal. I mean, I have, like, for instance, made Patreon stuff, and there's obviously all these websites, they want to know how they can, how you can make money from your content. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Mm. So just remind me very quickly then, what is the outcome of the one main outcome of Media to the Stars?
Mm. The main outcome is for creative professionals to be able to get like extraordinary, amazing advice from professionals in the industry. Something that's really worth value for them and provides them with a reason to listen, with a reason to subscribe, with a reason to use some of their time, their resources to be able to be a more effective person, I think.
So then you become like the host and the host, and I don't know what the word is, but someone that enables that advice to come forward. So you go to experts and then you ask them for their advice, you prompt it forward, you record it, and then you distribute it to your audience. That's good. That gives clear direction about what you want to do. Then that means that you need to start reaching out to some more experts and start interviewing them. Like reach out to Leo, reach out to Aladdin, and then start to go even further out from beyond the team to further afield. Start interviewing them. Start setting up your questions based on what you just said there. So it's about capturing good advice. And you always go to them like, what's your top 3 pieces of advice for a young content creator? What's your best advice for a young content creator that wants to go professional? How do you monetize your content? What are the 3 classic mistakes everyone makes when they make content? Why do people stop making content, and how can they avoid that? And how can they keep going? All of these questions are then predicated on the outcome of what you're doing it for. So once you know what it is, then that informs the decision-making process or the design process. So now you know. I got to speak to these people. I've got to say these things. I've got to ask these questions. That informs the long form as well. So you get the long episode, which you put on YouTube, and then if you chunk it, you can get little clips out. Just clip them straight away, put them on TikTok, Instagram. Minimal editing. Like, just start posting more. One of my classic mistakes that I made when I started making content was over editing, which is a funny thing to say because I'm an editor, but I would misjudge what my audience was expecting and what the platform was asking for. And I was over editing things because I thought it needed a cinematic level of quality in order to succeed. And then I realized too long into the game that my audience wasn't expecting that. Like the I Love You audience wasn't expecting that. The YouMeUs.tv audience wasn't expecting cinematic quality because this wasn't cinema. It was social media. They were watching quick, fast, dirty content. And so I was spending two or three times longer producing content that could have been done in a much simpler way. And if I had done it in a much simpler way, I would have done it in 3 times less time, which would have meant I could have produced 3 times more, if that makes sense. So then, this, for example, rather than spending 1 hour making one piece of content, that piece of content could have been done in a simpler way in, say, 20 minutes. And so 1 hour, 20 minutes, suddenly within 1 hour, I could have made 3 pieces, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, and produced 3 more pieces of content that were simple and quick and dirty, as opposed to 1 hour on a premium piece of content that was really too premium for its own good, you know? It's like spending too long on a McDonald's burger. Like, I had to know my audience, and I made the wrong decision. And that led to a lower output. And in social media, like in Instagram and TikTok, output and volume is important. Quality is important, but quality doesn't mean it's like quality does not mean cinematic quality. That's just a form of quality. Quality is about the content. You can have the prettiest film, but if the content is lacking or missing or not even there, then it's just superficial, surface level prettiness, and it's vapid and it doesn't last. It's not sustainable. It's not enough to really carry a personality. You know, I think it lasts temporarily. If there's no substance, if there's no content, then that's a problem. And so you'll see influencers, you'll see creators that are winning because it's about their personality, it's about their content. They're giving good advice, they're giving good comedy, they're giving good rants about politics or whatever straight into their phone. So it's about the content. That's a lesson for myself. Yeah, I mean, to link that to Media to the Stars. Yeah, you've helped me understand what your content is about. But I definitely think there should be more Charles in it, more Charles personality, and then people get invested in you as the personality, and then they trust you more if they can see you, and then they know it's you, and then they're following you as the host as you go to meet these people. So it's like you're leading your audience as you go and meet these experts, and you're speaking on their behalf, speaking to experts, collecting their information, and then distributing it to your audience who are behind you, followers. So you go, who is my audience? You know, what age are they? What do they look like? What are they interested in? What do they want? And then once you know what they want, you go out into the world and collect it. And in your case, your audience wants advice about how to make content. Let's say they're young, they're beginners. So then that informs your questions. That has to be about beginner level stuff. So then you go to the experts and you say, all right, what are your starter tips? How do you get into content? How do you keep going? How do you ensure you stay consistent, knowing that all of that information that you collect is going to be useful to your audience and to you as well? All of this is initiated first by you wanting to do this in the first place. And then so once you do that and you collect and enable and manifest content that is useful for your audience, then that is how you build an audience, because you're serving value. You're producing valuable content to the audience, content that the audience wants. And then the more valuable you are, the more people will do things to keep you around. That's how they subscribe. Like, why does someone subscribe? Why do I subscribe to a piece of content? I subscribe to content and creators that are valuable. They serve me value. I want what they're giving me. I subscribe, so I kind of tether myself to them a little bit more. I make it easier for myself to access their content. I hit subscribe, and their content comes straight into my feed. It reduces the friction. I don't have to search them out. YouTube just gives it to me straight away because I want that person's value. Like Jonathan Pye, for example. Do you know Jonathan Pye?
Yeah.
I like him. So I hit subscribe, and he comes straight into my feed. because he's valuable. I like his content. I find him funny. And so do other people. So he's serving consistent value and we subscribe. We get more of his stuff. He makes more videos. He develops an audience. He goes and sells tickets to his shows. I've even been tempted to go because I trust him, because I'm watching his content over and over again and it's valuable. So I'm saying it's the same for anyone. If you serve content that is valuable, which means giving people what they want, content that people want, consistently, repeatedly, to a point where people trust and go, okay, this is consistent. I trust that this is going to be good content every time. Then you say, they subscribe, and now you've got them. And then you do that, develop it. You develop a consistent audience, though you know their analytics. Then you've got something to bargain with in when it comes to sponsorships. I mean, that's how AFTV done it. That's how anyone does it. Yeah. Is that useful?
Yeah. I mean, it's quite eye-opening for, what I should do to, make sure that a person can see me and trust me. So yeah, I think you've got some points there that I should take on board.
What questions do you have? I mean, if you have any at all?
I mean, is there anyone you think I shouldn't get or would be worthless, do you think?
Shouldn't get?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's loads of people. I wouldn't get, like, murderers or anything like that.
Not that I know any, guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't actually tend to. I tend to focus more on who you would want to get, rather than the avoidance of who you don't want to get. I think generally, as a rule of thumb, focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. I actually was speaking to Rakib earlier and said something interesting, and like he said something like, I want to forget how to do a certain thing. He said, I'm trying to forget how to do all this. I'm trying to forget this thing in particular. And it was interesting because I was like, by trying to actively trying to forget it, like I'm trying to forget this thing, you're literally just thinking about that thing. Exactly. So by trying to forget it, by trying to consciously forget it, it's literally the only thing in your mind. And so really, if you want to forget something, you only do that by focusing on what you want to know and what you want to do. And then the thing that you don't want organically just dissolves by the wayside. And then that's how you get what you want. Like, you actively manifest what you want by focusing on it, right? So who do you want to meet? And then by virtue of doing that, you'll naturally you'll not even bother with who you don't want to meet. They'll just be like, there, they're just on the side. And they don't even come into your mind. That's something I had to learn, like, in the hard way. Like, I was that guy as well. I was like, who do I not want to meet? Or who do I not want to be? What don't I want in my life? And then I just kind of tethered myself constantly to what I don't want, and then was surprised when it was always around. Did you hear that? Did you know that example that I kind of drop? Well, I do drop about like the mother and her son and what he doesn't want for dinner.
No.
It's funny. Like, I don't usually have, like, kind of examples that I always pull out of, like, stories or anything like that, but this is one of them. And it's basically about that point I just made about knowing what you want. So a lot of people focus on what they don't want instead of what they do want. And I believe that that's not helpful. And it's more valuable, more effective to focus on what you do want, more healthy to focus on what you do want. By focusing on what you don't want, that's like a son who gets asked by his mother, all right, son, what do you want for dinner? And then the son says, I don't want burgers and chips. Like, that's not helpful. Like, one, because you've just told me what I don't want, so there's, like, nothing to really work with. And two, all I'm thinking about now is the thing you don't want. So now that's all that's going on in our head. What it would be more helpful, more useful is to say what you do want. So what do you want? And so I want lasagna with a nice glass of cranberry juice. It's like, oh, okay. So now we're thinking about what you do want. Now I know what I need to go and get when we go to the shops. All of the pathway kind of manifests itself. All of the plans, the way reveals itself. I can almost see the pathway to it. It's like, oh, lasagna with cranberry juice. We need to go to Sainsbury's because Tesco doesn't do cranberry juice. So let's go to Sainsbury's and get all the ingredients. And then that gives us a time, gives us a place. Then we know we need at least like 2 hours because it's lasagna now. Like the plan formulates itself, sort of just energetically comes together once we know where we're heading and what we want, as opposed to the alternative, which was I don't want burger and chips. There's almost like a jittery, jarring effect to that. Does that make sense? So if you say I don't want to interview Donald Trump, we're like, oh, okay, cool. We don't want to invite Donald Trump. And then some political person starts ranting about Donald Trump. It's like, oh, Donald Trump is a fascist. And then it becomes a conversation about Donald Trump. And then people start getting upset, which is cool. I'm not saying don't talk about Donald Trump. But what if you spoke about literally who you do want to meet? Did I just spit? Does that feel more healthy? Does that feel more beneficial? Does that feel more productive and optimistic and visionary? I think it does. And I think that's a much better way to live. So, yeah, I have to remember to do that. And I'd encourage you to do that with the podcast. That's why I keep saying, what do you want to do? What do you want? Who do you want to see rather than who don't you want to see? What's the purpose of it? What does your audience want? And then we can kind of like move in tandem with that. That's why I'm kind of obsessed with whenever I meet anyone. It's like, what do you want? What do you want to do? What would be the best thing for us to do today? I don't always say that because sometimes it's better to just presume. Some people don't like to just be asked. It can be a bit heavy to say, what do you want to do? What's your perfect day? So it's better to just have a guess. That's what I've learned. But it's always moving and acting in pursuit of the value that people want, or of what constitutes value for that person. Not acting in opposition to what that person fears or what they want to move away from. Actively turning and moving towards what they want to move to, or more optimistically, more hopefully, more inspiringly. That's a better way to move. And if you do that all the time, it'll be proper sick. People love that. Yeah. That was a good point. I kind of ruined it when I thought I spat, but I'm sure you'll forgive me. I'm sure you'll forgive me as well. Oh, please. No, it's too much. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. 35 minutes, not bad. Anything else?
No, I think pretty sorted. Happy,
I'm good. I would challenge you to. Now, I would challenge you to drop a very short piece of advice for someone who's looking to get into content production, which you can then clip out of this video and put onto your TikTok and Instagram. You can cut out a nice reel, a nice portrait formatted reel, and label it my advice to beginner content creators, my top advice for beginner content creators. So that's prompted by me saying to you, what is your best advice for someone who's looking to get into content production? And then you clip this clip out on CapCut, upload it onto TikTok, put some text in saying how to get into content production. And then that's the piece of content. So we're about to manifest a powerful piece of micro content. That's my challenge anyway. Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. So Charles, very quickly, very concisely, very powerfully, what is your top tip for someone who's looking to get into content production?
I'd say the best thing to do is, I know everyone says it, is to get started. And once you've got started, make sure you know that you have a style, that you're happy with it, you're proud of it before it goes out. Because if you're not loving your own content, like I say, no one else will love it. You have to be vested 100% in whatever you do. So if you're looking to make any sort of content, just be yourself. People will know if you're being yourself, if you're not being yourself. So yeah, it's about producing something that, or like I say, so it's value to yourself first and then value to others.
Oh, wow. That is good advice. That is 100% good advice. Yeah, proud of you. That's powerful. It's meaningful. And you're 100% right. I have to be happy, proud of it first. Otherwise, no one else is going to be. And then I would never put it out. Are you proud of your content?
Yeah, I am very proud of my content, but maybe that's because I'm one of those people that's quite easy to please. But I think, you know, I do have some sort of standard, but I mean, like, you know, I really don't care. Like, you know how you were saying about cinema quality earlier? I think, like, even though if you watch my podcast on YouTube or Spotify, you'll see that it's like a Zoom, and you know, it's not the best quality. Sometimes it's 720p, and I know everyone likes their 4K or 1080p, but you know, I think it's
not everyone.
Not everyone. Sorry to make that jump. But yes, there are people out there that prefer that sort of thing. But honestly, my thing about the quality is that you can see our faces, you can hear what we're talking about, and if that's all you need. I mean, because like I say, podcasts, obviously there's different people and how they use them, but most of the time they're on in the background. You're going to work, you're going to see a friend, you're trying to go to sleep. You know, I just want it to be something that's there, that can be played in the background, or if you're one of those people that loves to watch it, that you're actually entertained. You can see me nodding. Hopefully that gives you some you know, you can see that I'm engaging with the other person. I think, you know, there's definitely multiple aspects to making good quality content, you know, and that the quality is actually sometimes more so decided by the person who watches it or listens to it than actually you when you put it out. I mean, obviously I determine some of the quality, but really it's about, like, when you look at comments of what people say, it's they're deciding the quality. It's like when we say what does it give something its purpose. I would say actually it's the people out there, it's the viewers, like you say, they want to give the content a purpose, a value, a quality. So yeah.
Fantastic. Give the man a round of applause. It's getting louder. There's that one guy making the same sound over and over again. All right. Enough. Shush. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's a wrap up. That's a wrap. Can I squeeze anything else into this time? Can I? Always up for a challenge. If there's something worth adding. You know, I said to Miata last week that these long form interviews are with people that tend to watch long form, are people that are big fans and they trust, and some of them that have like a almost established relationship with, because watching or spending half an hour or an hour on something almost demands that viewer has a certain level of trust in order to be able to be willing to spend an hour watching something. And I said, I don't have a lot of people like that at the moment. I have a few people. And so these podcasts, this long form interview, is a vehicle for smaller moments to be produced. This space facilitates smaller moments to be produced, which can then be clipped out and put on Instagram and TikTok. So I just blatantly just kind of just went, yo, can I just drop some more points in here, which I can clip? In a very sort of like not open and just open and unsubtle way. I don't even know what's the word for unsubtle. Transparent way. Like, yeah, if you didn't know, that's one of my outcomes here. To drop just like 30 to 60 second sound bites, which I can clip and put onto TikTok with a bit of B-roll and music. But it's good. It's a good system. I would teach it to anyone. I mean, do it yourself. But I'm thinking like we've done all this setup. Might as well just kind of drop some extra points. But nothing's really coming to mind. Can you prompt me? Can you give me a hand?
Okay. How much dedication would you say someone needs to be a content producer?
Good question. How much dedication? I don't think you need much dedication. And I think we need to define what it means to be a content creator and what you're trying to achieve through that content. I think it doesn't take that much dedication to do one piece of content a day. If that one piece of content is a very quick video to camera of you reflecting your one key learning from the day. So for example, and this is a good idea for someone that wants to make content of value regularly, set up a TikTok account or an Instagram account, and every night when you have literally 5 minutes, like set a time every night, 5 minutes, say 8 p.m. to 8:05 p.m. Get your phone out, record your key learning of the day. Like, what have you learned today that is of value to you and to the person you're speaking to the one audience member that you're speaking to, something of real value that has changed you, that has been useful. One key learning from the day, record it directly into the app, record it directly into Instagram, into TikTok. Short, keep it under 1 minute. Record it, upload it, a little bit of text, 3 hashtags to give it some categorization, and just put it out. Make sure I would say, to give it just a bit of direction so it's not random, give it a bit of energy, give it a bit of conciseness, like come in with some impact. Say, all right, my learning today was that I need to look after my health. Or you could even say, hey, learning of the day, or even cut straight out. Say, make sure that you drink water today. Dehydration is one of the key causes of fatigue, tiredness, illness. It's so underrated. It's so easy to forget, but make sure you drink 8 glasses of water today. The results are immense, amazing, underrated. Just please drink 8 waters a day. You got to do it. I'm doing it right now and I'm still got energy and it's nearly 9 p.m. So if you want energy, and you do, in order to achieve any of your goals, any of your dreams, you're going to need energy. So it's as easy as just drinking water. That's the baseline. Don't worry about exercise or walking or anything like that. Just make sure you're hydrated. Pause, cut, put it onto Instagram and TikTok. Do that every day, 8 p.m. to 8:05 p.m. And just keep doing it. Minor dedication or dedication, but, and if you ain't got 5 minutes at 8:08 to 8:05, be flexible. Do it at 5 to 5:05. Do it at 7:23 to 7:28. 5 minutes. Banging advice. Great question. And if you do that, then you will be consistent, you will be valuable, and you will be speedy. And so I said the formula for success in content from my experience of working at like Arsenal Fan TV and YouMeUs.tv is VCS, value, consistency, and speed. It's got to be valuable. It's got to be something that your audience wants, that they will benefit from and they will take. Consistent, regular, so it's regular, so people can expect that it's going to come regularly. They will subscribe. And speed, so you do quick turnarounds, which reduces costs. Because if it takes long, time is money, and production costs go up. That's why if you can just do it in 5 minutes and it's valuable and it's consistent, then you're onto a winner. If it's very valuable, very consistent, quick turnarounds, people will watch because it's what they want. It's of value to them. If you give people what they want, they will take it because it's what they want, if that makes sense. So yeah, great question. Let's wrap it up because the battery on the camera is about to die. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to you for watching.